And welcome to Capital Talk, a program we hope will have an impact on the future of Kenya. Now, especially now, more than ever, I'm Jeff Koinange. Now, if you've been watching Capital Talk this week, you know it's all about the Ocampo 6. And we've been promising you that we'll try and bring as many of them as we can get on the bench. And when I called my guest today, he's never turned me down. Even during the days of the post-election violence, he would always come to the bench willingly because he says he calls a spade a spade. And when they named him on the list of 6, I tell you, he was as shocked as everyone else. He wants to know why him? Why not others? Who's going down? Who's calling the shots? Is he going to be innocent in the end? He says he's always been. Sit back, folks. Call him what you want. We're not here to kick a man when he's down. But I tell you, when I say this man is the king of the rift, he's the king of the rift. Eldoret North, Member of Parliament, William Ruto. Mheshimiwa, you'll always be the king of the rift to me, man. Huh? You know, because you call it like you see it.
If that is your description, I'll give it to you. But let me say thank you for inviting me to the bench once again. It's always been a pleasure to be here.
And you've always been along here every time I called you. Remember, from the beginning, you always came.
Yes.
Right?
Because I think it's a good thing to share your thoughts and views with others. Some will agree with you, some will not. Yeah. And I think that's the way to go in life.
Absolutely. Mheshimiwa, you're heading to The Hague. First of all, when that list came out and you saw the names on the left side and the 3 names on the right side, were you as shocked as the rest of us, or did you know all along that your name had been bandied around?
The one thing that all of us expected is that there would be credible independent investigations into this process. And I want to tell you, Jeff, that if there were, and if there will ever be, credible independent investigations, my name should not be on that list. But as things stand now, I am supposed to stand in The Hague on the 7th, which I will, to demonstrate and to prove my innocence. Of course, it is not the role of the mill issues. You know, we are talking about being accused of crimes against humanity. Thousands of Kenyans died. The specific charges against me are that I distributed 3,000 guns and hand grenades and money, and I had an army with commanders and things like those. Jeff, things that can only be possible in a movie. It cannot be in reality. As an opposition member of parliament in 2007, it would take a miracle. You know, I would have to have powers of an angel to be able to assemble 3,000 guns, be able to have cylinders, be able to have an army, to be able to do the kind of things they are saying I did. But be that as it may, I guess we have to now deal with the situation as it is, go to The Hague, and deal with the matters as they are at the moment.
Yeah. Are you nervous going in, Mheshimiwa? Are you nervous?
Let me be very honest to you. My conscience is very clear. And my innocence does not need any boosting. I am clear in my mind. I go there with a very clear conscience, knowing very well that I am innocent, and the kind of charges that have been preferred against me, as I say, can only be in a movie.
Despite what the reassurances by the ICC, that once you all go, you will be free to go back home immediately after. What if they detain you, Mheshimiwa? What if they choose to? Because, you know, you can never tell until you're there. What if they choose to detain you and they say, oh, he's a threat to this, he's a threat to witnesses, he's a flight threat, whatever it is. What if they detain you?
Well, I guess anything is possible. But again, we take confidence in the fact that we all still believe that this is supposed to be a justice system that is above board, that is based on fairness, on justice. And until they prove otherwise, we will take it as that. If they decide to detain any one of us, I guess it is it will demonstrate what kind of system it is. Because as things stand now, there is a ruling of the court, and the conditions that have been attached to the summonses are that one, we need to not to interfere with the witnesses, we need to not interfere with the investigations, and we need to show up when we are called upon to. And I think that is, we've kept to that script.
Yeah.
So it would be strange, in my opinion, if they went out of their way to try and detain any one of us.
But Mheshimiwa, let's not lose the sight of the fact that you all asked for this. You all kept saying, don't be vague, ask for Hague. Be careful what you wish for, they say.
I think it is it's good you've asked that question so that we can clear the issue. Because I have had many politicians, including very senior politicians, saying, oh, you know, we asked for this. Let me be honest to you. There has never been brought a bill to the House to recommend the Hague trial. What was brought to the House was a bill to set up a local tribunal. And the way the bill was drafted then, many people had very serious misgivings about that bill. And for your information, the rejection of that bill was not by PNU alone. It was rejected by members across the political divide, both in PNU and in ODM, right? It is very dishonest for ODM to try and arrogate themselves the moral high ground now and pose as though they supported the local tribunal. When less than 100 members, you know, from across the divide, more than 100 members from across the divide voted against the local tribunal. So what Kenyans recommended, including myself, by the way, although I voted for the local tribunal by virtue of collective responsibility, but many members recommended that we should set up a judicial mechanism under a division of the High Court that would deal with these issues, right? That was a recommendation that was put then. As we are talking now, the reason why the ICC got involved is because Ocampo decided to go and ask, because there are only three ways how the ICC can get involved. Either number one, for the United Nations to recommend, or number two, for the government to say we have been defeated by this matter, please come and help us, we are unable to arrest, our judicial mechanism has collapsed, we are unable to arrest suspects, come and help us. Or the third option is for the prosecutor himself to go and request permission from the court for him to come and investigate. So we are currently undergoing this process, not because any one of us asked for it. It is because the prosecutor went and asked for permission to come to Kenya. There is no way, Jeff, we would have agreed that our judicial system has collapsed. And for your information, let me ask you a basic question which every Kenyan should ask themselves. If William Ruto was such a monster, or Henry Kosgei for that matter, or Uhuru Kenyatta for that matter, that the judicial system in Kenya could not arrest us if we had committed any crime. I am currently in court. Henry Kosgei is in court. The same judicial system that can arrest William Ruto, powerful in courts as he is, and take him to court on a land matter in Ngong Forest, arrest Henry Kosgei for abuse of office in his ministry. If we have actually committed the kind of crimes these people are saying we committed, why haven't we been arrested and taken to court here in Kenya? You cannot, on one end, say the judicial system has collapsed. That's why we are going to the ICC. And another time, still arrest people and charge them. It clearly demonstrates that there is more to this than the search for justice.
Yeah, and the more that you're getting at, if I'm not mistaken, Mheshimiwa, you're being framed. You think you're being framed. Are you the fall guy?
You know, if you look at the sequence of events, without necessarily pointing fingers at people, you listen to very senior politicians say, oh, you know, if William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta and all these guys are not taken to The Hague, they will cause chaos over a higher scale next year, right? You hear the whole prosecution process, you know, laced with, oh, you know, we need to teach Kenya a lesson, or Kenya must be used as an example. You go further, and I read a statement yesterday where a beneficiary of the violence is saying, you see, this violence must have been planned. It must have been organized, right? And you are enjoying the trappings of power that came as a result of the sharing of government occasioned by violence, and you want other people to carry the cross while you enjoy the trappings of power. And lastly, I went to the CID to make a report, because when some Kenyans came out and clearly stated in the media that we were coached by the Kenya Commission on Human Rights, one Mr. Omar Hassan, we were told to frame Honorable Ruto, them and others, right? And they came out of their own volition. They swore affidavits. They went to press. And when I got the affidavits, I went to report the matter to the police. And because the Kenya, when the matter came out, the Kenya Human Rights Commission said, oh, you know, William Ruto should take legal action if he wants. He should report the matter to the authorities instead of playing politics. I did that. To date, Jeff, Omar Hassan is roaming around, a criminal, yeah, accused by Kenyans who are sane and living. Yeah, he's roaming around because he is protected by lords of impunity. People, he and others, assisted for their names not to be in the Kenya Human Rights Report, upon which our names were picked, and that is why we are in the Hague process at the moment. Do you know, for example, that there exists two different reports produced by the Kenya Commission on Human Rights? One report has a set of names, another report has a different set of names, some names missing, because the people who are protecting Omar Hassan today it's payback time, because they are the same ones who Omar Hassan and others assisted to get their names off the list. So it's payback time.
Does that original list exist?
The original list exists. The original two reports exist. In fact, it has been a subject of debate in Parliament.
About the real working report?
Are we together?
Yes.
And the report upon which the whole of this Hague process has been produced is a report in contention, serious contention, right? I want to challenge you, Jeff. Ask today the Commissioner of Police, and the Attorney General. Why hasn't Omar Hassan been prosecuted for criminal responsibility for coaching people to lie about others? He's enjoying political protection from people who are managing this process for political reasons. It is because William Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta, and others must go through this process. And the whole of this is now a political weapon to get rid of certain people.
Because you're the biggest threat.
But I tell you, Jeff, that God is not on leave. Nobody cooks ugali for God. And whatever they do, if this has anything to do with truth and justice, it shall come out very shortly. Yeah. And as I have said before, we are going to shame the devil.
Which I want to talk more about that, and that's deep, and that's nobody has touched on that thus far. But yes, you have touched on it, and something to think about. Number two, I know you keep saying you can take the heat every time we see you on TV. You can take the heat, but you're very worried about some members of your family who aren't quite taking the heat. We'll talk about that after the break. Whoa, folks! That's why he's the king of the rift. He says he can take it, and he says God is never on leave. And in the end, he will be vindicated. But I tell you, he makes you think, doesn't he? Think about it while we go on break, because the bench is just about to blow up. Back in a moment. And welcome back to Capital Talk. All this week, it's all about one subject, the Ocampo 6. And as promised, we brought you, or we're going to bring you as many of the Ocampo 6 suspects as we can, beginning with the man I call, affectionately and otherwise, the king of the rift. I tell you, he's got the backbone. He can stand up. He can take the heat. He's on the list. He's heading to The Hague. He says God is on his side. Former agriculture minister, former minister for education, now Eldoret North member of parliament, William Ruto. But it's true, you pissed somebody off, for lack of a better word, Mheshimiwa. You pissed somebody off so much. Because, look, let's face it, who would go, you were agriculture minister, and last time we met, agriculture ministry was voted #1 in terms of performance. You went to higher education, and then all these cases started coming in, corruption here, land here, this, that, and now on the list. Is that coincidence? Or is that a great Shakespearean novel?
I think somebody has been reading between the lines, Shakespeare between the lines. Yeah. But let me say this, Jeff, without really veering off the point, that setup or no setup, intrigues and games and, trying to look for or scapegoating and that kind of thing. I think bottom line is we are in this process. It's time now for us, the so-called Ocampo 6, to get the best legal minds, prove our innocence, so that we can join the rest of Kenyans in building our country. We've had differences, and it is not, and I want to put it clearly, we've had differences of opinion and out of principle in my party. And it's nothing personal as far as I'm concerned. We've had difference of opinion on the Mao issues. We've had differences of opinion on the post-election issues. We've differences of opinion on many other issues. The one thing I did not expect, and least of all from ODM, is that we've now gone back to the KANU single party regime tactics, that if you do not toe the party line, or the line, not even necessarily party line, the leader's line, you were either expelled from the party or you removed from this or that committee, or you, I mean, it's really draconian. Let me give you an example. Maybe when people thought we had differences of opinion, many people thought we were being unreasonable, maybe others thought we were pursuing other issues. Let me give you an example. Last week, the National Executive Committee of the party was called. In that meeting, where the party leader himself was present, certain decisions were made by the party, including, I don't know, paying legal fees for the campus, the members of ODM in there, including how to deal with the way forward in the party, and that kind of thing. Within hours, a decision that had been made by the party using its organs was reversed by one or two people, right? And many party members today who attended the NEC that time are in shock. They are beginning to realize what some of us have complained all along, that you cannot run a party as though it was your private property. You know? Yeah. You cannot construe differences of opinion to mean that it's now enmity and you have to get rid of other people. And precisely where we stand today, even with the Hague issue, the people who are running the party as though it was their piece of thing, yeah, and who cannot see what other party members are saying, are the ones behind the whole of these shenanigans. They are the ones behind the witnesses and all else that has gone on. They are behind all these other charade of things that are going on. And for me, I wish them well. And let's meet, of course, in court.
The question is, Mheshimiwa, can you beat them? Can you beat them? I know you refuse that legal fee.
They will succeed in everything else. Intrigues and games and manipulation. But I don't think they can manufacture the truth, or they can change the foundation of justice. I think the truth will finally come out.
Will it set you free, Mheshimiwa?
Absolutely.
You'll be vindicated?
Absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind. And for your information, Jeff, I have told you the kind of things that I am accused of having done is not possible in Kenya. It's only possible, I have told you, in a movie.
In Hollywood?
It's just in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You cannot. My house, for example, is exactly 2 kilometers from an AP station where the DO stays. My house is exactly maybe 4.5 kilometers from a whole police station. My friend, an opposition member of parliament cannot assemble 3,000 guns 2 kilometers from an administration police camp complete with a DO, and 4 kilometers away from a police station, and you know, operate. It's not reasonable, yeah. Right? But you know, because we are engaged in a movie, or I don't know what it is, I guess we have to move along and try and prove our innocence.
But the people suffering the most out of all this, Mheshimiwa, and you've said this before, is your family. You're starting to feel the pains of that, or they are.
I don't want to discuss this because it touches on people who really don't understand the intrigues of politics and all this, what's going on. As I said the other day, of course, some of my family members cannot understand what's going on. And is affecting them. I will do the best I can to protect them from this and to try and insulate them from the whole of this business, because they really have nothing to do with this, right? They really have nothing to do with this. My mother is already here. She came. I found her at home yesterday. And I mean, I don't know what to tell her. You know, she doesn't understand what is this whole Hague thing about, what is actually going on. My children are managing, you know, with a bit of difficulty. Yeah. But I guess that this process, when finally it comes to an end, I will be vindicated, and they will have some peace. Yeah.
Are you going to be stronger coming out of it much more? Because, you know, the feeling I get is you're being dragged through the mud. You're being dragged through, and unfairly so. You say, will you come out of it stronger and a better person?
I think so, because I think being dragged through the mud is an understatement, Jeff. You know, you haven't walked around when everybody who looks at you says, oh, this is the fella. You know, you remember those 1,300 people? You remember the people living in camps? You know, that is not small time. That is not light. That is very, very heavy. Especially, my brother, if you have absolutely nothing to do with it. You know, it's really tragic. And you find people you stood for and stood by making, you know, adding insult to injury by saying, oh, you know, me, I was detained. I was innocent, but I was detained. So William Ruto should go to The Hague, even if he's innocent. I mean, really. I mean, any responsible person, if an injustice has been committed against you, you wouldn't wish another person to go through another injustice. I think they should be the ones to say, I was unfairly accused. I do not want another Kenyan to go through what I have gone through. And I can tell you, Jeff, as I sit here, that whatever we have to do, we must do, so that no other Kenyan goes through what I am going through or members of my family are going through. To be accused unfairly, to have an international tag on you that you are a criminal, you kill people, you caused people to lose their lives, you destroyed property. I mean, it's a terrible thing. But this is life, and there is no rehearsal. We got to go through it, and because we are innocent, that is the only confidence that we have, that when the truth comes out, we will then be able to be free people, to have learned from this experience, and hopefully we can help shape society in future to avoid the kind of pitfalls that we've gone through.
Will William Ruto have the last laugh in this?
If justice, truth, and fairness are the benchmarks, definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
Mheshimiwa, we'll see you at The Hague.
Thank you. Are you coming?
Well. Yes, indeed. We'll see you there. All the
Please,
best.
then we'll have good company.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well
Thank
done. Eldoret North Member of Parliament, the King of the Rift, says if there is justice, truth, and fairness, then he will be vindicated and he'll have the last laugh. But I tell you, I'd be pissed off if I was him right now, because he is, he's pissed off. In the end, he says, God does not sleep. All we can say is, stay tuned. See you at The Hague, and we'll see this through. What a guest! What a show! What a week it's turning out to be, folks. You can get guests like the Member of Parliament for Eldoret North anywhere else, but right here on the bench, on the award-winning station, K24, where we are. Even in times of the Ocampo 6, we are all Kenyan.
All the time.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Capital Talk is filmed at Fairmont, the Norfolk.